All right, it is 2:01. Thank you for those who have turned up on time. You will be rewarded by me starting now. Today, we are talking about paid meta advertising. It is a massive part of what we do in the Integrity New Homes marketing world. And the last 6 months has been very interesting. So I want to share with you, I guess, where we're sitting in regards to our approach and how that approach diversifies depending on the business that you run, where you're at, and how your assets are traveling with that. So let's just quickly have a quick overview. This is what we're talking about. How does paid meta ads work? The difference between a leads campaign and exposure campaign, and what is the best for my business. 3 points that we'll go through very quickly today, and hopefully this can be a great reference for those who join our group at a later date or have missed out today. First, how meta advertising works. So I have set up, I don't know, I've lost count how many meta advertising, meta campaigns. This is just, I guess, to have you understand what the process is. When setting up a campaign and when it's more than just having the ads that I make, the graphics or the videos, Meta wants us to choose a specific objective. There's 5 specific objectives that they offer. Awareness is a massive awareness campaign, massive exposure, but there's no follow through in terms of leads or click through to website. It is just getting your product, for us, houses, new homes, out to the maximum amount of people possible. Number 2, traffic. That dials back a little bit in terms of what the intention is, but it is also to try and get as much eyes on your ad with the intention to drive that traffic to the website. So that would either be a product, but for us is a landing page. Engagement objectives is that if you want people to message you on WhatsApp or message you on Facebook Messenger or call. That is essentially the objective. So the ads go out with the intent to have those people contact you in the moment. This doesn't really work for builders as you're on site doing what you do. Then we have a leads objective, which is the gathering of data within Meta of those interested as they fill out a form. And then sales is an objective that gets tied into products and probably more suited for e-commerce, retargeting, and that kind of stuff. Not so much us. Obviously, we want to make sales, but I feel that's more for micro transactions than it is micro, whatever the small one is, those transactions instead of large scale transactions like we do. Then we get to choose our parameters. Who do we want our audience to be? Essentially, we pick location. For most of our builders, they are not in a population size that we can narrow down and be more specific. So it is a 50-mile radius of who's in the group. Avabi and Geelong, perfect. A 50, so we bang a pin on Geelong and we can set a 50-mile parameter. That's as much. We can do smaller. And if he wants to then target Melbourne for Melbourne people to go into Geelong, we can then do a pin in Geelong and so on and so forth. This also is where we set our budget. This is also when we set the length of time for our campaign. And then the next stop is when we put in our text that people read, choosing our video or our graphics and the destination. Where do we want them to end up? Do we want them to go to the page, our website page, or do we want them to go to lead form? So that's how it kind of works. So that's what I'm working through every time. Takes a bit of time, but it's well worth the process and what we get to deal with. Which objective? And so this is where, out of those 5 objectives, what do we more lean to and why? Now, I think if we have a brand new business that joins us, I would love to run an awareness campaign for 2 weeks. Why? Because it's maximum exposure and the content and the language would be Integrity New Homes is in your area. We're looking to build, but I believe that would also need to be hand in hand with a high quality product of deal. I would want to be filming the people and making it quite a high end product of an asset, of creative asset. I want it to look really good. I want it to be something that draws attention, because essentially all we're paying for is attention on that ad. It's purely brand awareness. There's no follow-up action. The second objective that we play with, and we mainly play with traffic and leads, is traffic. It's high exposure. It is a link to the website landing page. And this is what we've learned over, I guess, the last 6 months, because we've played with both in lots of different markets. It relies on clients engaging you. So I believe it actually reduces the amount of leads. But when people engage us, those leads tend to be of a warmer, hotter, higher quality. And in my opinion, is our best quality for money for the time spent. I'll go into what we need to set up for traffic in a second. The third one is leads. Now, we have to understand that the eyes on our ads are about 10% of what gets on our traffic. So essentially understanding that for Brisbane and working with DJ, he's gone from leads, his ads were getting, seen, let's just throw a figure out, maybe 1,000 times a month. It'd be more than that, but let's just say 1,000 times a month. If he was running a traffic campaign, which he's now, he's having that seen 10,000 times a month. So there is a big difference in that metric. But so it's average exposure, people fill in the form in the ad. It's an easy data capture. Leads, I believe, are easier, but the intent of the lead is, I believe, I'm going to say less quality, and I'll go into detail a bit more further, but it's less quality because I think the people are more so not window shopping, but they're at an entry level to the process of wanting to build a home. So their process, I feel, is going to take a longer process to have that lead come through and become warm to that point. But it's also great if you have a bot. It's good for bot follow-up. So if you have a bot connected to your business and your web page, having that lead, having that data come in, the bot can do some heavy lifting, which is great too. Which objective is right for my business? This is great. We kind of touched on awareness a little bit. I would suggest businesses in large metro markets starting out, but requires a strong message and excellent creative. So if you're in a highly competitive environment, that would be a good starting point. And then to move into traffic or leads. Is a traffic objective right for my business? This is for businesses who want to spend less time on leads and rely on the quality of lead because they're engaging us. But what we have learned is that this traffic campaigns rely on people that are going to peruse your website and have a look at your website and go from the welcome page. So you need quality proof of existence of your business. So if you're just starting out with Integrity New Homes, you don't have a gallery, you don't have blogs, you aren't proving that you've been in the game a long time. A traffic deal, I feel what's going on, and we saw this, we've pivoted quite a bit with different businesses, is that they were getting 450, 500 clicks through to the website and no one was emailing, or no one was taking the next step to email. And I believe that's because it had a lack of quality of proof of existence on their website because they were newer businesses. So you need to have your website fully charged, quality of proof, and that set up, because it isn't like, I guess, and I can use this example, if you're selling a digital course and it's $30, I may just purchase that course on a $30 deal because it's a micro transaction, and I might not leave that main page that they've led me to. There might be enough information, and because it's a low risk, I may not peruse that website. But we're asking people to give us between $250 to $750, $1 million. I believe the intent is that people will come onto that website page, the landing page, which is fantastic, but then explore further. It is a massive purchase, and it would be due diligence for them to explore further. And I think that was what was happening in some markets where people didn't have a fully loaded website with historical content and lots of proof that they're building homes. Objective for leads: businesses who want mass data collection of information, new businesses who may not have quality proof of existence, and businesses utilizing bot follow-up. I think that's where we're leading to, with especially some of our newer guys that will go to a leads-based deal, because simply we don't have the content on the website. We don't want people to go to the website yet. We want to get their data collection. We want to be sending them monthly emails. We want that bot to be doing the work. We want to be able to have a slow process to build that relationship and build that trust. And then there's the question, I didn't have this, I just had this in this afternoon, I was thinking about it. How do I treat these leads? So I believe there's a difference in intent. For obviously with an awareness campaign, there's no leads coming through the campaign. They still might email you and that would be great, but the campaign itself isn't driving leads. A traffic, those leads that have engaged me or you, the builder, I believe there is a shorter development time of that lead to get them, say, from warm to hot to a prelim. So the intent and the conversation are way more specific, and I believe the sales pitch is a lot stronger. The leads that are coming, or the leads that and information are coming in from the leads. So a leads objective, mate, these are early stage shoppers. They're in discovery and education. A lot of the time we hear back, people are just looking for prices. They're looking to understand what it's going to cost them to build a home. So these leads will have a long development time, and it's understanding that we can't just chuck these leads out because they didn't go anywhere after 2 weeks. These are people we want to bring on the journey through email, through organic social media, through more advertising, and we want to educate these people. We want to build that trust so that potentially in 12 months or 18 months time, that we're the choice that they make. So it's important that, and getting that data in, and that's the difference in intent from you as a builder or you as a salesperson. If we're running a traffic campaign or if we're running a leads campaign, the intent that you're going to engage those leads, I believe, is different. That's where we're at. And I'm going to say thanks for listening and thank you for your time. I'm just going to, I guess, come back to here. If anyone has any questions, Glenn's got his hand up. What's your question, Glenn?
Yeah, thanks for all that, Brad. Interesting. So on this screen here, my business has, well, I do utilize a bot. However, I have a highly developed website as well. So are you saying we have to use a leads campaign because through the traffic campaign, we're not getting the client's data. We're just directing them to the website and it's up to them whether they populate data. Whereas with the leads campaign, they've got to provide us their details before anything else happens. Is that the key difference here?
Yeah, I believe, like, I would want a fully fledged website, full stop. That should be the go for every builder. And to be having anything that you build be presented on our website to build that social proof. I think that's the intent of every builder. I think that's great. I guess for me, and I could probably lean on Tim a little bit more. Tim knows a lot more about the bot follow up and how that engages. But I know that with the bot following up is, I guess, a better outcome for a builder that is dealing with leads that are in the slow process.
Yeah,
because it's taken the
sure.
pressure off the builder, I guess, to engage, to then be discouraged, which was part of the conversation. Now the bot's doing that heavy lifting to bring that person on the journey a bit further along and utilize the builder's time.
Oh, the bot's fantastic, but you're saying
Yeah.
the bot isn't compatible with the traffic campaign because we've got no data from the client. We don't know who
Well, the
they
data,
are in the traffic
the data
campaign.
that the only data that we get from the traffic campaign is if they engage us.
Yeah,
So
sure.
essentially, you're going to get less. They're going to be warmer leads, but you like the bot. And if you're paying for the bot, you want that bot to be working. Well, I want that bot to get as much data from people as possible. So I'm utilizing those funds to the best of the ability. So that's why lead that in with the leads. I'm sure Tim could probably talk a little bit more into how the bot connects with people that fill out just an email form on the website, and if there is that connectivity there that is streamlined. But for me, it's more so about the numbers of how many leads are coming in, utilizing that bot to do the heavy lifting and sift through who's serious, who's not, and then have that builder use their time effectively.
Yeah. So when you say you get more eyeballs with traffic, that's more eyeballs actually going to your website, not necessarily more eyeballs actually engaging with you at that point. Is that
No.
the
So the traffic ad will have, it's 10 times the amount of eyeballs on the ad. So 10 times the amount of people seeing your ad. And then it's driving, like with the budgets that we've been using, between say 400 to 500 clicks onto your website. So this is where, so for someone like DJ that has, is time poor, wants warmer leads, has been building with us for a long time, has all that historical stuff, it's working very well. But say in, I guess, if we were looking at Bendigo with Amir, then because our website's not fully fledged yet, and he's working with every, like that's where it's not, we just want to be collecting that data and trying to fish a bit harder with those leads.
But I'm just wondering if you can have the best of both worlds here, whether we can have the traffic campaign and the high visibility and still have the bot working. And that's where you're saying you're not sure. Yeah.
Well, Tim's unmuted, so I feel like he's going to pop in. So, yep.
Yeah. I guess there's a few ways of looking at this as well. But a traffic campaign, like when you're running a traffic campaign, Facebook is trying to deliver the ads to people that are interested at looking at builders' websites. So they may be very early in the journey, or they could be right at that point when they're about to build. So theoretically, as Brad's saying, you get 10 times the amount of people looking at the site, but only a small portion of those be ready to build and be willing to fill out the form. If they go through to that trouble, they're going to be a hotter lead. And if they fill the form out, yes, a bot can engage with them at that point.
Okay. So you can get a bot active in the traffic campaign as long as they fill out the form.
Yep.
So why then wouldn't the traffic campaign be the most compatible campaign for every one of our builders? I guess is
because their websites let them down.
Right.
Because what people are then doing is they're going to the welcome page, they're getting a 2-minute digestive deal, nice sales pitch, hey, contact us.
Sure.
Which is great, I guess, if you're selling books or you're selling microtransactions, but because it is a deal, people are then exploring the rest of the website, and there's just not enough substance to prove that contacting you is the right option. So
also an intent change here as well. So the intent of a traffic campaign is to bring people in that are happy to look at the website, whereas the intent of a lead campaign is to bring people in that are willing to put their details in. So theoretically, they're further along the journey and they're ready to contact, but they may be shopping around. They may have filled their form out to 10 different builders. And that's, again, where the bot comes in to try and filter the ones out that are willing to talk to you. But there's a chance that the traffic campaign is hitting just the people that are happy to browse and they were never intending to give you details anyway. Got 10 times the amount of traffic, so theoretically you'd probably get a few people that are further on the journey as well. But it's a higher friction because they've got to fill that whole form out.
Sure. Fascinating. Thank you, Brad.
So we have found Brisbane does seem to work with that traffic campaign relatively well, whereas smaller builders are working a lot better with that leads campaign, as Brad's identified there.
And I think it's probably not so much even smaller, but it's just newer businesses. I think it's just having those. So for Geraldton, I would probably move to more of a traffic campaign because it gets more eyeballs on those ads, gets more brand recognition, gives you hotter leads, but the bot can still come in and do some of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, perfect.
But it isn't noticeable. Like DJ probably had half the amount of leads come in from the leads campaign to the traffic, which is what he wanted, because he was like, we're doing all this work, the leads aren't going anywhere, and so it suited him, right? So it's again, it's one of those things. Do we want quality? Do we want quantity? What's my website best suited for to retain what I need? and where do we go from there? Because
I'm prepared to go to traffic as long as the bot can keep working, because I'd be struggling without that bot.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Brad. I'll let Sovit have a
Sovit. Question time. You there, mate? You might have to take it off mute. There we go.
All righty.
Hey,
hello,
mate.
Everyone. How are you?
Yeah.
You've answered all of them when Glenn asked you already. So one question, like obviously when client send if they are on a leads campaign, that's working more effective in my business because we tried traffic campaign for a while, right? And obviously we didn't have a website full of galleries. Maybe that was the reason. Yeah. So with the leads campaign, I know our bot will communicate with them, and then I've been getting a couple of plans as well from client asking to estimate it. So they are quality leads, which is very fantastic. But with the traffic lead, how do you know how effective are they? Because they might be just quickly glancing our website. How do you know the campaign or the ads going in from the traffic lead or campaigns are effective?
Well, I guess the effectiveness comes down to how many clicks are coming in from that. So we can see how many people are coming from the ad to your website and to the web page that we have. So that's where the measure is. And then we kind of put that next to, and this is where for you, Sovit, it kind of fell over, because I think yours is the perfect example where the leads were working fantastic. You had heaps of leads coming in, probably too many leads to deal with. So we kind of moved to a traffic because we wanted that higher quality deal. But being newer to the group, the website probably wasn't up to a standard where people were convinced to then go that next step. So that's where, like, I'm looking at iGyro and looking at how many emails are coming in, or how many prospect leads are coming in, and going, okay, well, they're coming in. Again, it's hard for me to see on iGyro because I'm like, okay, where did they come in through an organic social media post? Did they come in through a email click out? Like, all I'm seeing is how many emails you're going to get sent from clients, prospective clients in iGyro. So again, it's hard for me to attribute in a traffic campaign where those emails come specifically from the traffic campaign, or have they come from another source. I would assume most likely they've come from the traffic campaign, but it's still difficult to pinpoint exactly the metrics on connecting the success of the campaign and how many clicks, how many people you've brought to the website, to then where I guess the emails are coming from.
The leads a campaign are easy to track down and see how effective they are because you're getting leads
big time
straight away, right? But the traffic is you just have to go into the more into the system and find out how many clicks and how many and how many seconds or of the people are spending on the website or maybe on Facebook campaign, that sort of thing. Okay, cool.
There is a more complicated, I guess, a complicated place of like figuring out exactly how successful the traffic campaign is. But the big one, like the big motivator for me, is just increasing that website traffic to your website. Like that's like, for me to know that the ad's working. If we're spending $300, you're getting between say 400 and 600 people to your website. That's just the cost metric. That's pretty well across everyone in our group. So I'm like, okay, if we're hitting those numbers, then the meta portion's doing the right thing. And then we've got to look at how many emails are coming in. If no emails are coming in, no leads from emails and those email contact forms, then I'm like, okay, we know the problem is somewhere on the website or some kind of functionality on that end, and we can address that as well, which I think, in your case, we have addressed what that is, and that's why we've pivoted back to leads for now.
Yeah. Because there's a business point of view, you just think like, all right, that maybe traffic is not working. That's what I thought, because it's like, I've got no leads, and then I think I texted you the other day. So, hey, let's just move from traffic to leads. From that day, we got like maybe 3 or 4 leads in a week.
And so you said that. And so this is my question, I guess, and this is the age-old question. Out of those 3 or 4 leads, then I ask the question, how quality are they? Where are they on the journey? How much time are you going to have to spend to nurture them over the course of a 12-month period? Like that's also part of I guess, the equation of what is a better objective for my business. How much time do I have to nurture those leads? That also plays a part in it too. And unfortunately, as a marketing guy, I'm not talking to the people. It's hard for me to know how quality the leads are coming from a leads objective compared to a traffic objective. All I know is the intent, as Tim kind of said, is different. There's the intent of those who are on the website and then engage is more intentful. They're probably further along than guys that haven't left the Facebook app or the Instagram app, and they've just gone, yeah, I'm kind of interested. I'll throw it out there. We'll see where it lands. So that's all part of the parcel of what I do day in, day out. So it's fun.
Thanks, Brad.
It's cool. Any other questions from anyone? There you go. Well, my 10-minute webinar turned into 26 minutes. I think we had a good conversation, very worthwhile. So I thank everyone for their time with my thank you page. And yeah, we'll chat soon. And I hope you have a great rest of the week. Thank you, guys.